Oh boy, we just got a massive new report about the upcoming Rey Star Wars movie. I don't want to break down the report because it's really freaking wild. Like, this news is really cool, and yet fans are angry, confused, and I think setting expectations for this movie that are definitely not going to be met. But let's break it all down in this video. First, we're going to talk about the new rumors, and then we will try to answer the question of what the even is this movie. Smash a freaking like on this video and let's begin. Okay, so first up, we gotta talk about this report, and we have to talk about the fact that this report comes from Giant freaking Robot.
Hey yo, what the
Yes, I know, Giant freaking Robot has a horrible reputation, but I'm here to tell you they've actually been way better over the past couple of years. Some of my best sources and people that I talk to behind the scenes have been sharing with me different articles from Giant freaking Robot saying they got another one right. You can go to their website and check out what exclusive they have had over the past couple of years, and you just gotta trust me, I wouldn't even be talking about this report unless I felt like GFR has actually turned the corner and has been way more accurate as of late. But of course, take it with a giant grain of salt, as it is, at the end of the day, Giant freaking Robot. And so the report, according to them, as an exclusive, is that Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker as Force Ghosts will appear in the upcoming Rey New Jedi Order movie. And this tracks with different things that I have heard. I haven't exactly got this report confirmed as true, but I had heard things about Luke Skywalker showing up in this Rey movie before. And look, I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard about this, I got really freaking hyped up and excited. I mean, the idea of actually seeing Mark Hamill and Hayden Christensen acting together in a scene, both as Force Ghosts, is a pretty mind-blowing proposition. It is something that got me excited about that sequel trilogy Luke Skywalker book that came out last year that everybody was hyped up about. I'm a sucker for these awesome characters, man, and I want to see them have an impact on the story of Star Wars moving forward. And so the idea of scenes with Anakin and Rey and Luke and Rey, stuff that I really badly wanted in the actual sequel trilogy, coming in this new movie, yeah, man, it got me excited. But oh man, did it not get many of you excited. We did a live stream the other day talking about this report, and I was frankly shocked at how many of you didn't care how cool this could potentially be and saw it as potentially Disney just putting in sweet, cool cameos to get us to show up to a movie that none of us are actually excited about. And I gotta say, that's sad, but also understandable. I mean, Star Wars at this point just feels like such a product. It feels like it has so lost its way that I can completely understand people basically getting what amounts to amazing Anakin friggin' Luke Skywalker coming back in future Star Wars movies information and digesting it as though it's really not a big deal, viewing it through the lens of just more corporate tricks. I mean, honestly, that might be what it is. And as I talked to more of you guys in that live stream and just looked out on social media at how people were reacting to this rumor, it became very clear to me fans are really confused about what this movie even is, and they are way more negative towards it than I had even anticipated. And that's not good. That could potentially lead to another scenario like episode 9, where basically all of the Star Wars fandom feels disappointed. I mean, the first thing that people seem to be confused about is the fact that this new Rey Star Wars movie is not episode 10.
Why?
Even though Kathy addressed this at Star Wars Celebration, even though Jeff Snyder had scooped for a year plus that this movie was not going to be the beginning of a trilogy, for whatever reason, the Star Wars fans just don't accept that, and they think, oh, another Star Wars movie with Rey, that's episode 10, bro. And that's not good for Lucasfilm, because people are basically anticipating the beginning of a whole new era of storytelling. They're anticipating something that begins a 3-act story. And there's nothing to indicate that that's the logic that they're using for this movie. And that doesn't even seem to be what the writing gig was for, right? Like, Damon Lindelof wasn't hired to write a trilogy. He was just hired to write a singular movie that involved Rey and sequel trilogy characters, but was really about something else. And that kind of takes me to the next thing that I think people are really confused about when it comes to this movie is the fact that this is not a movie where Rey is going to be the lead or the main character.
Why?
And you might be like, dude, what are you talking about? They brought Daisy Ridley out on stage at Star Wars Celebration. It's crazy they got her back. She's obviously going to be the main character of the film. And I get where you're at, but I'm just telling you, there's nothing to indicate that. And all of the really good reporting about this movie suggests that Daisy Ridley is not the main character. She is going to be a supporting role to new characters that we're going to follow, maybe being a part of the Jedi Order, maybe not. And it's like, even as I'm explaining that, right? Like, even as I'm thinking about how people are going to take this segment of the video, I get it. It seems ridiculous. It seems confusing, but that's the problem. Is like, Kathy is making a movie where Rey's not even going to be the main character. And yet right now, all the promotional buzz, the big thrust for the hype of this film is Daisy Ridley returning. And so all of that kind of leads to the question of like, what the fuck even is this movie? Like, it's not a trilogy, so it's not introducing a villain worthy enough of like multiple movies for us to overcome. There's seemingly no huge disaster that's going to propel a massive story for the entire brand moving forward. All we know about this movie is that it's 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, and Rey's bad at recreating the Jedi, and it's like, oh no. And they're going to sell us on the fact that it tells the story of Rey reforming the Jedi and expands on where the galaxy was at in episode 9. And yet it's not really even about Rey. Rey's not going to be the main character. It's like, what is this movie? And I think the unfortunate truth of what this film is was kind of revealed when Jeff Snyder talked about how Damon Lindelof's script had a much older Rey. It was going to be set like 60 years after the Rise of Skywalker. We'd see like an 80-year-old Rey in her twilight years trying to train some Jedi. And he sort of joked about how they threw that all away just so that they could sell more toys of Daisy Ridley. And if you really think about it, the only thing that makes sense to answer the question of what the fuck is this movie is that this movie is an attempt by Kathleen and LucasFilm to right all of the wrongs of the sequel era and make the sequel era IP more appealing to fans. Rise of Skywalker left everything off at a place where there's no Jedi. It's just Rey, Ben Solo and Kylo Ren are dead, Snoke's dead, Palpatine's dead. Rey's the granddaughter of a clone of Palpatine, but it's actually a Skywalker at the end of the movie. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Nobody's excited about that shit. There's not cool, compelling merchandise. There's not compelling storylines that are driving fan interest. And so I think what this new Rey Star Wars movie really is an attempt by Kathy to make it a more sellable and franchisable part of the canon. She wants to have all of the sequel characters, ships, you know, everything that you would call intellectual property from the sequel trilogy. She wants to give that a second life out there for the fan base and potentially for retailers. Like, that's what it is. It's just a money-making strategy. It almost feels like she wants to recreate the Force Awakens time period, right? When that movie came out, there was all this interest, excitement, mystery. Oh my goodness, where's it gonna go next? And so she wants that. She wants to recreate that time period and then just not finish the trilogy and just kind of forever live where the brand is like, yeah, that's where the story's at. And to be completely honest with you, it's not the worst idea in the world. I understand that logic. And if they had just stopped after The Force Awakens or extended that period for a long, long time, they likely would have made way more money and there would be just way more, I don't know, I guess love for the brand of Star Wars, because most of us agree that time period going back to when The Force Awakens first came out was crazy. You would walk into Targets and it would just be boom, Star Wars everywhere. I had so many normie friends coming up to me getting into Star Wars, and that wave of interest created by The Force Awakens created like some of the Star Wars content creators that we have today. It was an insane period, but we're way far away from that now with diminishing viewer numbers for all of their shows, just a lot of criticism coming out. You know, Galactic Star Cruiser just closed down, and so I think she really does want to just kind of recapture the magic of that Force Awakens period. But the brand damage has been done, and Rey specifically, especially with the way they want to craft this Rey movie, I just don't think this is going to work. So let me know your thoughts about Luke Skywalker and Anakin being in the Rey movie. Does that get you excited, or are you one of these fans that's just very negative on this movie, doesn't want this movie, and thinks that Kathleen Kennedy's kind of the worst? Either way, let me know your thoughts. Smash a like on this video. We're going to pop up a video if you want to check it out. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.